Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome into another edition of the Right Side of Campus. It is Monday, December 9th, 2019. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. It is a dreary Monday here in the Philadelphia area, but hope you're having a bright day wherever you are. We got a lot to talk about today. Sunday NFL recap. The college football playoff is set. We also have a big Monday night football game tonight, Eagles and Giants at the Link. We'll break all that down for you in just a little bit. Also, some headlines as well, which we'll get to. Let's bring in our panel co-host and colleague, Donnie Rightside. Donnie, how you doing?
Yeah, boring game today, I guess tonight you might say, Jeff. Little rain in the forecast. Should be an easy victory. Looking for things down the line. But, hey, it is what it is. And are we really excited about this? I mean, I'm wearing a shirt. It's about excited as I'm going to get about this game.
I'm kind of excited for it. I mean, it's Eagle football either way. I mean, we have to think about the days in May and July when there's no football.
February, March, awful.
Yeah, so, again, I'm not having a big issue with getting up for a game. Again, we'll talk about it. A lot of things to be concerned about, but it's a football game tonight. Let's also bring in our special co-host. He's joined us over the last couple of days. It's our friend Ryan. Ryan, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Good, doing well. Ready for the game tonight, as I'm sure both of you guys are. Also have some interest from the fantasy football aspect in this game for me tonight in two of my leagues where I need to come from behind to beat both of my opponents. So obviously want the Birds to win, but also need some points to be scored.
Who do we need, Ryan? Who do we need? Give the people the need out there.
So I need, I should say, make a long story short, guy that I'm tied with in the division is up by 10 points on another guy who has the Eagles defense left, and that's the only people left going. So if the defense can get 11 points, I'll win the division automatically, which agreed, should be easy.
That's never easy with that defense.
And then and then I have Jake Elliott and Dallas Goedert going. So lack of wideouts like we talk about all the time. Goddard should see his fair amount of targets, and Elliott should be able to score some points. So I'm feeling comfortable, but can't feel too comfortable when it comes to the Eagles right now. So
that's so true. We welcome everyone in. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you support the show. You can chat with us on the chat box anytime. Make your voice heard. And also, make sure if you're out there on Twitter, make sure you retweet the show. It's always helpful to get the word out. We are here every day at 1 o'clock Eastern. All right, how was everybody's weekend? Did everyone enjoy their weekend?
I did, man. I did.
Football
was sensational this weekend. Saturday, I really enjoyed it. Sunday, even better. I thought it was a great weekend. I had a good time.
Yeah, always fun. As I said, football soon won't be here. Oof. I mean, we're already done with the college football regular season. We have just one game this week, which is the Army-Navy game, and then we don't have bowls. We have bowls around the 20th. I think that's the first day. So, we'll stay tuned to the channel. I'm sure we'll break down some of the bowls. We do have an Army-Navy preview out. Joe Duffy and I did it last night. And I got to tell you, maybe two plays in this game that you might not think we would have. Army-Navy, definitely a storied grouping of games. Guys, keep in mind, Army has won the last three of these. Before that, Navy had won 14 straight. So, we'll see how that goes in Philadelphia this week on Saturday. All right, let's get into some morning headlines. We'll start it out with LaMelo Ball, Donnie. He's occasionally a subject of our we always have a LaMelo watching away. We see what's going on with him generally, but we really haven't heard from him in a little bit. Obviously, the talk is look right now to me and to a lot of other people, if I had a mock draft, he would be my number one overall pick. Now, there was some bad news over the weekend, Donnie and Ryan. LaMelo Ball will actually be sitting out for the next 4 weeks. I will say, I don't know that this is a bad thing. Why not sit out the rest of the year? You've already shown that you have the ability to be the number one pick. He'll be out 4 weeks with a foot injury. It doesn't seem like a real bad injury, but it looks like a bruised foot. And decision makers that were going over to see him are going to have to now delay that. Could be good news, though, for his teammate, Donnie, or a colleague in the not teammate, but colleague in the league, R.J. Hampton, who many people believe is a number one top 10 pick as well. he will get to maybe have some shine now that LaMelo will be sidelined. Definitely not good news for LaMelo Ball, Ryan and Donnie, but it's nice to have a little rest. Donnie, why not just sit out the rest of the year if you're?
Yeah, he should. You know what the shame of it all is, Jeff? And if you look at, because he's a superstar player, right? And we all understand that. Boy, would he be like, you want to talk about brand imaging, Jeff, if he was at Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, UCLA right now, it would be awesome. Like, let's take a look. If Zion went the route of LaMelo Ball, went to Australia, you know how much money he's made, Zion, just by going to Duke and being on that massive stage? How about LaMelo Ball, Jeff, getting into the college, getting into March Madness and making a run? He would be the talk of the town. And I know it makes sense for what he wants to do in his professional career, but if he used the NCAA branding model, he would be a absolutely ginormous star right now, man.
Well, he didn't, though.
Yeah.
And again, he's still going to be the number one pick. Ryan D'Amico, I'm starting to see this clearly. You know who's going to take LaMelo Ball with the number one pick? The New York Knicks. And I'm going to tell you, I'm here for it. That could be epic if you're LaMelo Ball, but it's
epic as far as like turmoil. I mean, is there anyone you can't honestly think that would work out?
Settle down, Ryan. He's got a ton of talent, and at the end of the day, he has been fairly.
I didn't even know LaMelo Ball was still playing basketball. I mean, you don't hear anything about him.
Yeah, wow. He's actually.
You got to admit that's problematic.
I mean, can you imagine him, Ryan, like on ABC, ESPN, ACC Game of the Week? He would be like, oh my! He missed a big opportunity, dude.
Yeah, I mean, his dad though has been very, very under the radar. We haven't heard from him. There's nothing going on around the family, which is good news. Listen, like it or not, whatever your opinion is on the Balls, which I find it odd that anyone has a negative opinion on. I don't really know why you'd have a negative opinion. But
I also heard that the majority of like general managers haven't even been out there to see him yet, and this only kind of prolongs things. And you know what I mean? So I mean that in my eyes, you can say what you want about the kid, that he's talented and he's the consensus number one pick, but I mean at some point these guys need to see him play, and if he's out 4 weeks, I mean that's going to push things into January. So it's definitely interesting to see how it works out, especially like you said, Jeff, with what's his face, RJ Hampton out there too, kind of battling for that top spot in the draft.
Yeah, I would have RJ more towards a 10 or so, 8 maybe. But again, have a nice Christmas now. You can come home. You're not going to play for a couple of weeks. Get a nice Christmas. Come back. It's kind of like, Donnie, you're in college anyway. Go home for a couple of weeks, get some time off, and head back to the nice country of Australia for the next 3 or 4 months. Listen, again, like it or not, LaMelo Ball is the best player in this draft. So he'll be right up there. Should be fun. But how about that for pageantry? If the New York Knicks take LaMelo Ball, that would be quite amazing. Crowd favorite, maybe, or he could be that could be bad for his confidence. We'll see. Right. But Donnie, you and I have talked about it. LaMelo generally a pretty nonsensical guy. Oddly enough, Ryan, he doesn't love the spotlight. A lot of people have made that clear. He kind of stays away.
Seems like none of the brothers really do, besides the dad. I mean, you don't hear much about Lonzo. You say
he only had one knucklehead thing where they got caught up in that thing overseas for stealing, which just being a knucklehead kid. But they're not drinking, driving, drugging, suspended punks. You know what I mean? So he did a good job raising him as a father.
Sure. Yeah. And the best thing about them is they started, I think, to speak up a little bit. Lonzo Ball basically said, "Look, Dad, I'm good. You do your own thing, brother. Like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm going to take a shoe deal. I'm going to do my thing." Listen, I will say about LeVar, you can't knock the guy for trying to cash in on his kids. I mean, he raised them. I think he basically felt like he was entitled to that. But again, we've moved on. They look like they're on kind of par for a good career. And if you're the middle son, LiAngelo, it's, hey, bro, let me be your manager or something. Go to agent school. Make sure you go to agent school. LiAngelo, go to agent school. Be a Rich Paul.
Exactly. Rich Paul didn't even go to agent school. Just hang out with your brothers, and they'll throw you a couple bones, man. That's the best. The best thing is knowing people, not actual that piece of paper.
Sure.
That
100%. I mean, there's so many guys that just have used friends of theirs to make something out of themselves. So good for him. I'm sure they'll all be fine. All right. Sad news. Donnie, you and I on this show have talked way too much about young people dying. And it's interesting, not interesting that people are dying, but interesting in the fact that, Donnie, you look back since the beginning of show business, music, TV, movies, it always seems like all the good die young, doesn't it? Whether it's singers or rappers or actresses or whoever. And I know certain people, Donnie, you might not know who this kid is. Maybe Ryan doesn't either. But the truth of the matter, the truth of the matter is, Juice WRLD was pretty big in these parts nowadays. I'm not going to say I love his music. I think Lucid Dreams is one of the great tracks over the last couple of years. This kid was a talent, obviously, but we see the same things with these young people, whether it's Avicii or Mac Miller or whoever. It's the prescription drugs, it's the suicidal thoughts, it's the lean, it's the stuff that these young kids are doing that is killing them. According to the report, he was basically came into the private airport, and was bleeding from the mouth. Now it's coming out that he took some prescription drugs on the flight. He was drinking. He's had a lean problem in the past. Hopefully some of these kids will start to wise up and stop doing this sort of thing. But definitely a sad story, Ryan. Kid was 21. I mean, barely an adult. And he's going to it's very sad.
No, it is sad. And you're right. Lucid Dreams was a good track. Really the only song that I kind of know him from. I knew of him, didn't listen to much of his stuff except for, obviously I've heard Lucid Dreams, like you said, is probably, definitely his most popular, single that he released. But look, it's the common denominator. And like you said, it's been this way. I mean, you go back to Hendrix and Joplin and, that whole, mystique with, alcohol and drugs. It's just, when you have the access to it that these guys have and they can get it so easily. Like if I wanted to get this shit, I would have to contact several people and be like, hey, do you know a guy? These guys, I mean, they literally say one thing and it's at their doorstep. So it's a shame, and it's not going to stop. I mean, like you said, we saw it with Mac Miller last year. That was, extremely sad, talented guy, but it goes back to the common denominator of, look, this is the lifestyle. This is the lifestyle that these guys, live, and it's not going to change. I don't see it changing. But at the end of the day, anytime someone loses the battle with it and loses their life, it's definitely sad for sure, especially all the people affected, his family, etc.
Donnie, many of us live with some sort of a obsession or addiction. Some of us have, an alcohol problem. Some of us eat badly. Some of us do things. We all have something. That's why you can never really judge people. But we know what this world is. We don't know what it is, but we kind of know what it is. It's full of a lot of illicit things. You want to have fun. You want to party, and a lot of these young kids are medicating off of, whether it's, some kind of prescription or codeine syrup or whatever. Very sad to see a kid this young die over.
Yeah, everything in moderation. I didn't have any idea who the guy was, but, hearing some of the stories that come out, and it's just, it's young kids get caught up, and that's what it is, I guess.
I never understood. I'll be honest. I've never understood the love affair with like prescription drugs and shit like that.
You've got
that shit. Like, honestly, that shit kind of skeeves me out. Like,
some people have addiction personalities like that. Like some people gamble too much, some people drink too much, some people smoke too much. Once you get a taste of it, some people can't stop that urge. You'd be like, I got to do this again.
I would liken it, I think, Ryan, to, and I don't know this because I've never had this issue, but what I've heard is you liken it to, and I'll get very graphic, having an orgasm, okay? We've all done that. That feeling you have when that happens to you, that's what it's like to be on these drugs. And you want to achieve that feeling. And I think a lot of these kids, Percocets are very addictive. You take them, consider it, Donnie or Ryan, let's say you take a cold medicine, NyQuil. I know people that take NyQuil every night. Like, that's not good for you. Like, take it,
sure.
You become almost obsessed with it.
Well, it's not good to put anything foreign in your body on an everyday basis like that. Let alone in moderation, like you see, it can be bad for you. But it's definitely. I personally, look, I drink socially. I'm not an alcoholic by any means. I smoked my fair share of weed back in the day, but when it comes to certain other things like that, I just can't put my head around it. When you know the outcome and the risks yet you continue to do it. That's where I just mentally have a hard time of wrapping my head around it. But I get it. It's an addiction. Addiction is a terrible thing in any
crisis, man. It's a crisis with these young people and people in general. I will admit, and I will say this candidly, I've never done drugs. I've never smoked weed, never tried any of it. But I drank lean once when I was like 20. And I'll tell you right now, it was the most amazing looking thing I've ever seen. Donnie, it was this beautiful. It was in a styrofoam cup. It was this, and they told me it was just cough syrup. And I'm like, well, that can't be that bad. Whatever. And they put Sprite into it. It was this pink color, this beautiful pink color. And it looked like just the most amazing like fruit punch you could ever drink.
Cotton candy in a cup.
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you, it was weird, man. It was a weird feeling. It was loopy. You're very, you want to just go to sleep. It was kind of weird, but you feel bad for this kind of thing. But hopefully, people will get real and stop doing this kind of thing. But it's only going to get worse. Addiction's a problem in the country. All right, let's move on. I want to get to this story quickly, this Lizzo story. Listen, I'm not going to knock Lizzo. I don't listen to her music.
Go ahead, knock her.
Which is irrelevant whether I listen to her or not. That doesn't mean anything. But this is a basketball game. There's a time and a place to go and dance and shake your ass. Go to a club and do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Go wear whatever you want to the club, and you don't even have a dress code. You're a celebrity. You'll get in regardless. They just want you in there. But as far as this is pathetic. I don't know who allowed this to go on. When you go somewhere, there's a sense of professionalism and ethics that you have as a human being, what you do and don't do. You got to realize, these are family type atmospheres. I know they're basketball games, but these places go out of their way. And then again, LA's a little different because it's celebrity haven and that kind of thing. But I don't know who was the person that allowed her to come in dressed like that. It's sad though, because celebrities are able to just kind of do what they want. This is pathetic behavior. And it shouldn't happen in an NBA game, and it should not be magnified by whoever was creating that fan cam or whatever.
The only reason why I know about it is because you retweeted it, and that's the only reason why it's coming up on the show. Mission accomplished for this, bigger woman to be kind, to dancing in a G-string at a game. And I saw the one retweet that you got back, so I was like, look, even if it was a super hot girl, you're right. There's no place for that at a. But again, the goal was. Look, I'm a singer, and I need to go viral in some areas where some people have never seen me. Let me drop to this G-string and hit it off from the floor. And some people will laugh, some people will cringe. But you know what, Jeff? They watched it, and that's their goal.
It's nothing about I couldn't care less if it was her.
Was she? It was a really short video. Did she go to a game just in a T-shirt and a G-string, or did she? She had her drawers, or I don't know.
She walked into the stadium with that on. And again, we don't know why she did this. Obviously, it was for people to talk about it. Ryan, it doesn't matter who it was. It doesn't matter if it was J-Lo. It doesn't matter if it was, Nev Cam. It doesn't matter who it was. It's the fact, whoever this is not something you do at a basketball game. It's very simple. And shame on them.
Yeah, it's just someone trying to get, publicity. That's all. That's all it is. Really. That's all it is. If you sat her down in a room and you said, Zoe, what was the reason for this? If she's being completely honest, that's what she's doing. She wants people to talk about it like we're doing. She wants the retweets to get out there. She wants this. She wants that. That's all she does. And personally, I agree with both of you guys. I think it's disgusting. Not in the aspect of disgusting because of her body, just disgusting of the act. Of what she's doing, because at the end of the day, she has to understand, look, I don't want to sound like a preacher here, but look, she's a role model. And that's part of the reason why society is the way it is, because you see kids seeing people that, I like Lizzo's music. Oh, did you see Lizzo at the Lakers game? Yeah, I did. She was dancing around in a thong. Oh, cool. So when I go to prom, in June, I'm going to do the same thing because that's, the it thing to do. So I think it's extremely problematic, and people that glorify for her, I think, are out of their mind.
And I want to make this clear abundantly, and I hope this goes viral. This is not healthy. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a bigger dude. I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud that I'm like that. You think I'm happy that I'm like this?
Jeff, this is very non-millennial of you. I'm shocked.
No, it's true. I'm sick of this bullshit that it's cool to be fat. It's not. Stop with this bullshit. Stop purveying this on young people. This is negative, and it's, you know what? It's normal. It's cool to be a drug
That's
addict.
the problem.
It's cool.
That's
It's
the problem.
cool to sip lean. It's cool to, and look, I'm not gonna say I'm not guilty of this. I listen to music that is not good for kids to listen to either. But again, I'm an adult, okay, and I listen to the music I like. But would I want my, would I want my kid listening to the shit I listen to? Hell no. We have to stop purveying this as a society that, again, just because she's a bigger woman, that she can go out and wear what she wants. She can. Good for her. But stop purveying this on young people that this is a healthy way to live, because it's not. You can look at her, and I can say this because I'm a bigger dude. I'm going to guarantee if my insides could talk, they wouldn't be too happy with what I'm doing. And I admit that, and I need to change, and she does too. And shame on her for putting this out there. It's pathetic. And as a society, we just laugh at this stuff, and that's what we do now as people. But
do you remember, Jeff? Do you remember Howard Stern catching so much heat? Remember the one girl, Gabrielle Sidibe? He would rail on her for months and how unhealthy she was. She needs to change, and people would crush him for being like, "That's ridiculous. Let her be her," and stuff like that. And he used to get so upset and say, "I'm not knocking her, but she is so morbidly obese and unhealthy. She's gonna die, and she's gonna die. Right? She's beautiful the way she is."
At the end of the day, it is her body and it is her choice. That's true. But stop purveying that it's okay to be that way, because it's not. These young kids, 6, 8, 10 years old, that are listening to this music are thinking that's normal. It's not normal. Stop, and this is the society that we're in with this. We're going to just, everybody gets a trophy. Everybody, and everyone is the same. We all are normal people, but there's certain things about society that are not normal and not okay. If you want to eat yourself and you want to, eat food and not exercise, that's fine. I do it. I'm the big man on campus. I'm not happy though with who I am. And like, Ryan, are you happy that you're not skinny?
Yeah. No, for sure. Not, do I go, and I don't go prancing around, I don't go jogging through the neighborhood with my shirt off during the summer, because at the end of the day, no one wants to see that.
Exactly. So, great point. Great point.
And you want to, and look, we could spend hours talking about this, and you're right. It's definitely a generational thing, which, let's be honest, the way things are trending is not ideal. But look, and here's my issue with it is, and look, I know people, you need to make a name for yourself. You need to create a brand. You need to do this. You need to do that. How about you focus on your fucking music? How about you do that? How about you focus on being the best musical artist that you can? But at the end of the day, that's not kind of how things roll now.
Remember years ago, Ryan and Donnie, Simon Cowell would get destroyed for this kind of thing. He would basically tell people, "You're not marketable."
He's right. But he was right.
Yeah, he was. He was right at the end of the day. And
blowing smoke up people's asses like their friends would when they come on American Idol. Remember? All my friends and family seem great, and I should come out for the show. Well, they're fucking delusional. It's basically what he would say, lack of a better term. But
it's at the end of the day, this is what the society that we live in is. But this isn't cool, Look, you look at it was kind of interesting in the video, Ryan. Did you see Kobe Bryant walking out as this went on?
Yeah. With his kids, no less.
Which it's interesting, because you look at like a Kobe Bryant, and he's probably thinking the same thing we're thinking. I don't want my kids thinking, and not for nothing, I don't want my kids thinking that it's okay to go out dressed like that. I'm gonna tell you right now, in my house.
But Jeff, they're comfortable with themselves.
I'm gonna tell you right now, and you know why? Like my girl, for instance, Ryan, you guys will be at the party. My girl has asked me many different times, what do I wear to this thing? I want to make sure I don't look at any shirt. Like, we have the respect as people to understand that nobody wants to see all that. I don't kiss my girl in front of my family, because that's not real. There's the time and a place for that, and it's not in front of my mother and father. It's just not.
Exactly.
And like I don't want my sister dressing like this. Like, I just don't. It's pathetic. Let's move on. Final story. We'll talk more about this as it gets closer and closer. We're still about a month out. The college football playoff is complete. And Donnie wrong again on Georgia. Sad, but
I was rooting my ass off for. I didn't bet it, but I really was rooting for Georgia, though.
Well, I think you knew they weren't going to beat LSU.
Once their whole team went down too. I think Georgia has a little bit of Philadelphia Eagles complex in them with their players.
I think though we can agree that LSU, Clemson, and Ohio State are on a way different level.
Yes.
Oklahoma, again, I said this. It's fun to watch their offense. I want to see CeeDee Lamb against this kind of competition because I think he could be a guy that the Philadelphia Eagles might want to take a look at. I think it'll be a good playoff, though. I'll ask you, Ryan. I don't want to hear your preambles. I don't care. I just want to hear. Give me one word answer. Who wins the college football playoff?
LSU.
I agree. LSU, Ohio State.
See, I think I want LSU Clemson personally because I think Clemson is a really good football team and have been for 5-6 years now. And look, they handled their business. Obviously, we know about their easy schedule, but look, the talent is there. You look at who they're going to put into the NFL this year and whatnot, and what they do on a yearly basis. I want to see. That's what I want to see. This, in my opinion, fellas, played out exactly like I hoped it would have played out, where you have Ohio State versus Clemson, which I think will be a nice game, which I think will be entertaining, really two high, profile teams. And then the winner of that, which I hope is Clemson, will go on and take on LSU because they ain't losing to Oklahoma. So I think the college football playoff sets up absolutely beautiful.
I personally want LSU Ohio State if I could anchor my sentiment. I've said all year, I really don't care about Clemson. They don't play anybody. And it'll be interesting to see how they handle this kind of because we haven't talked much about the Clemson Tigers. It seems like whenever we talk about the match,
does the fact that they're favored, does that tell you anything or say anything to you? Even though they haven't played anyone?
To me, it definitely does. I was surprised to see that, especially with their inability to play a real tough game all season. But listen, we can't knock them. I mean, it was always a gift and a curse of college football. The fact that we're at that point where we have 30-point favorites in conference title games, but the fact that they went in and dropped 60 was impressive. Donnie, again, same question to you. Just give me a team. LSU, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Clemson. Who do you like?
It's Clemson. It's Clemson by far. Best quarterback, best running back, best defense, best coaches. Give me it.
Best quarterback? What are you, nuts?
Who's going to go higher in the draft? Who's going to go higher in the draft?
Joe Burrow's the number one pick, Donnie. It's not even close.
Joe Burrow's not going to be the number one. I don't know if Joe Burrow's going to be the number one pick overall, though.
He is, Donnie. And maybe outside of Chase Young.
Lawrence can't come out this year, right? Or can he?
He cannot come out.
He cannot.
Yeah.
No.
Well, he'll be the number one pick next year.
Yeah, he will next year.
But it's going to be between Chase Young and Joe Burrow. But again, you got to realize, you look at the number one pick, it's likely going to be – who would be the number Cincinnati. They need a quarterback pretty bad. I think Joe Burrow will probably stay in his home state. Yeah, it will be good for him.
You heard what came out earlier it came out a while ago, but it's kind of resurfacing today about what Nebraska told Joe Burrow. You fellas heard that, right?
I did not.
So that was his. Was
this on the transfer? Or is this out of high school? When was this?
I think it was the transfer, and that's where he wanted to go. He was all set. I want to go to Nebraska. I think it fits me beautifully. And they basically told him, "Yeah, you're not good enough to come here."
Well, I mean,
are you kidding me?
And but look at Ohio State. He wasn't good
Who
enough.
Who the hell is Nebraska? Who are they to turn down anybody?
No. Well, they had who was their coach then? Pelini?
Scott Frost was still there.
Frost was probably just getting in there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Scott Frost's a loser. It's pretty clear. Horrible comment.
He looks like that Todd from Breaking Bad too, doesn't he, Jeff?
He does kind of, yeah. I will say about Joe Burrow, and I think we all need to, and I'm talking about you too, Ryan, take a fucking step back, okay? Because last year, Joe Burrow was very average. I mean, you and I both know that. The key to this was them going out and saying, we got to retool this offense. I'm sick of the days of Les Miles and some of that crap. Remember some of those quarterbacks, Donnie, back in the day? That Anthony Jennings and
Ryan Perlew. I mean, they had an endless string of talented dudes that did nothing.
I mean, you had Zach Mettenberger.
All those guys run the same thing. Yep.
Good for them for going out and saying, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna go out and say, Joe, you love to run this RPO offense. We're going to bring in a guy that's going to tailor this offense to you. And they've done a terrific job with him. But I think all of us were pretty clear that even last year, and I'll admit early in the season, I had no idea Joe Burrow was at Ohio State. I never knew that. Like, honestly, as much college football as I watch, Joe Burrow just wasn't very good. Like I last year, I didn't really care much about it, but he has been terrific this year. It's been very fun to watch, and we'll talk more and more about this as the games get closer and closer.
Dude, real quick, Jeff. Yesterday, you're watching NFL football, right? Or you're doing whatever, you're around, but everybody's on Twitter. I got to tell you, these bowl game matchups were coming out, and I'm saying, the college football playoff did one thing so far that's going to break down the entire process. It's an awesome thing. The top 4 teams to play is going to be so much fun. These fucking bowl games, outside of maybe 1 or 2 games on New Year's Day, if you're just not a hardcore gambler, which we are, they are useless, meaningless, and we're on our way to like a 2014 playoff. It's coming, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, no, some of the matchups are pretty bad. They've got to do something with the way you become bowl eligible. Nobody wants to see 6-6 football teams. Okay,
you can still have, like, I don't even mind the bowl games. Just take the top 24, put them in a playoff, and whoever's left, we can have like made for TV games on Tuesdays, and we'll bet them and have fun. But the ruination of the bowl season is here, and I'm all for it, man.
Before we get to the NFL, we get a second half hour of a show here. It's going to be dedicated to the NFL. We'll get the Eagles-Giants in just a little bit. We got a lot of games to talk about yesterday, and we'll throw in some stuff along the way. But before we do that, I do want to tell all of you about Bet Online. There's so many things about Bet Online that you have to love. You know, obviously, betting on sports, you need to be able to bet early, and Bet Online's the earliest in the business. They already had college football playoff odds out right when the matchups came out. They're the originators of most of the lines. You can bet big with Bet Online. You can deposit or withdraw with Bitcoin, and you can get paid quickly. Get paid within 24 hours. I've talked before, you can really bet on anything at Bet Online. You can play poker, and you can bet on horses. And if you're a horse guy, there's daily racing forums. There's help to get you to win. There's all sorts of stuff to take a look at Bet Online. Check out the link in the description of this video. Make sure you join Bet Online. If you're looking for a new book or just looking to add one to your arsenal, Donnie, you can't bet with just one book. If you're doing that,
you're doing it wrong. Yep.
You're definitely doing it wrong. And outside of this state, Nevada, Delaware, a couple others, you can't bet on sports legally in your state yet. So go check Bet Online out. Great place, great book, and they're going to help you out with some customer service as well. All right, let's get into the NFL. Yesterday, interesting day. There were a lot of crooked scores in certain games, and there were a lot of close games. Typical NFL day. We first started out with the Baltimore Ravens, who Donnie and Ryan win again. They're 11-2 on the season. And, you know, if you had the Bills, you probably should have covered. It's a pretty close game throughout. But this is what the Baltimore Ravens do. They don't even maybe play their best, but they find a way. Guys, here's the issue with the Bills. And I think, you know, no one will come out and say it, but we've allowed Josh Allen to be just good, not great. Josh Allen continues, I believe, to hamper the Buffalo Bills. 32, Donnie, in completion percentage. I mean, he's just not accurate enough. I mean, he had some tough, spots last night, late in the game with the offensive line, but this has continued to be a problem with Josh Allen, Donnie. The accuracy of his passes. You never want a quarterback under 60%, and Josh Allen hasn't gotten there. What did the Bills not do to win this game? They're right in it, but Josh got to be a little bit better.
No, he does. Yeah, he missed 2 real deep shots in the first, 2 legitimate deep shot home runs, touchdowns in the front. But that's what Josh Allen is at this point. But I do take a little bit of step back because you're playing in a little bit tougher conditions. He has had a tough schedule. And when the teams aren't that good, he's put a beating on them, like, hanging over 30 points against the Dallas Cowboys. He needed to be better. I completely agree. But I got to say, I thoroughly enjoyed that football game. Like, I love the future of both of these teams, because if you get like you're talking about Frank Gore, who's ancient, who did nothing yesterday, a rookie running back, and Devin Singletary back in the backfield, and who are his wide receivers? Cole Beasley's a nice little slot wide receiver. They don't have that guy that's really going to make a play. Their tight ends are god awful. Nobody was helping him out. But he'll get better, and they'll get better, because I like both of these regimes in place. I had a good time. I said on the Buffalo Bills 6.5, watching at the end of the football game. You're right, Jeff. You should have got a cover if you're a Buffalo. But if you watched, honestly, this full game all the way through, The right play was the Ravens, which that sneaky backdoor at the end might have gotten there because the 6.5, they score a touchdown. You're going to end up winning that game. But never once did I doubt throughout the whole game that the Ravens were the better team here.
Yeah, they really were. Ryan, and guys, it's going to be tough to kind of get everyone's opinion on these games.
No, I just want to – I'll say – no. I only have one thing to say about this game. I feel like this game was lost. I don't know if it was I didn't really have to spend too much time, unfortunately, watching this game. Just zeroed in on some other things yesterday. But I don't know if it was, coaching or if it was Josh Allen himself. But when I look at the box score, and I look at everything about this game, where this game was lost, in my opinion, is where I see Josh Allen, 2 attempts for 9 yards rushing. If there's one thing we know about Josh Allen is he puts pressure on defense with his ability to run. Now, I don't know if Baltimore did a good job of taking that away yesterday or Buffalo just simply didn't call it.
He actually hurt his ankle in the second quarter, so I'll give him a little bit of a pass.
Don't give me that shit. You're playing at home in the biggest game of your season against the Ravens. Suck it up and run the damn ball because it's the only way that they were going to win this game. They couldn't do it passing. He's proven that he's up and down passing the ball. That is where this game was lost yesterday, was with Josh Allen not being able to run.
The Bills fans will accept mediocrity because he is better than Tyrod Taylor and E.J. Manuel and those kind of guys. But at the end of the day, Josh Allen needs to be better. He needs to, as Ryan said, run the football more. Take a little bit more control.
He is so much better this year than last year, though.
He is, but he's just not been that good, though. He's good for Buffalo standards, but he's still not, as Ryan said, he's not been a real leader. You got to take the reins and say, you know what? It's my game. I'm going to take the game in my hands. Look at the guy on the other sidelines. He was able to. I will say right now, Lamar Jackson is continuing to pull away in the MVP race. And with Lamar Jackson now, it's just about fine-tuning your game, winning football games. But, Donnie, some of those moves that he makes, one of Matt Milano was vicious. He looks like hot sauce out there with the football. Some of the wild plays he makes, that's only going to continue to help his cause. I think he is pulled away from the MVP race. He is the MVP. It's pretty clear.
That's what the MVP is the best player on the best team. So that's who should get it. Yes.
Yeah, 100% right. Last night, Donnie, this is something, and Ryan, I'll start with you on this. Is this just a Texans kind of game? I mean, this is so Bill O'Brien to allow this. And again, we talk about teams being held back by certain things. Houston could be such a good football team. They just seemingly are being held back by Bill O'Brien. He's just this is one thing they do seem every year. Where remember that playoff game? Wasn't it against? No, it was against Indy. I'm sorry. This is a Texans team that seemingly has this happen. You look really good one week and beat the Patriots, then you come out and this game was a lot farther off than what the final score indicated. It was 38-3 at one point.
Yeah, definitely. I view it, and I'm usually not big into the whole quote unquote letdowns games. I usually don't buy into that. I just haven't. But I definitely think this is definitely one of them spots where you come off a big win at home against New England. Then you look ahead that 2 of your last 3 games are against Tennessee, which you win those, that you lock up the division, and you probably you get the 3 or the 4 seed in the playoffs. I definitely think this is just a spot where they overlook this team. Look, they have a rookie quarterback and Drew Lock playing. I simply think they overlook this team, much like the Eagles did last week against Miami. Now, no one will come out and say it because you'll get vilified for it. But they overlooked this team. No question in my mind that they overlooked this team. Defensively, they gave up almost 400 total yards to Drew Lock. That's a problem. They overlooked this team point blank.
Might find their new quarterback out in Denver. Drew Lock, very efficient yesterday on the road. Nice game for the Lockmeister out of Missouri. Moving on, yesterday's game of the day was surely 49ers and Saints. Back and forth. I think they had 8 touchdowns in the first half and just 4 incompletions, which is kind of amazing. Donnie, you had to expect these two quarterbacks to kind of go back and forth. They're 1st and 5th in the NFL in completion percentage. Neither, I think, are dead set on running the football. But I will say, it's kind of disappointing to watch some of these games, and I know we all saw L.J. Ford at times for the Ravens, and Raheem Mostert, Donnie, who was a Philadelphia Eagle. This team's continued failure with letting players go and perform elsewhere. Remember how good Deion Lewis got when he left the Eagles, when he was with New England? It's irritating, but a wild game here, a classic game here. I was really hoping the Saints could win this game. It'd have been big. I have a future on the Saints to win the title. It would have helped my odds a little bit. But what a classic. And we were hoping, Donnie, we would see, can Jimmy G go on the road, preferably, and win a game like this where you need him to step the fuck up. He stepped the fuck up. This was impressive. I've kind of fell off with the Niners a little bit just with some of the performances, but this was impressive.
Yeah, it was everything. It was everything you wanted in a football game. And you had both of those games at 1:00. If you like defensive battles where, plays are going to be tough to come by, you had the Bills and the Ravens. And if you just wanted some offense where two of the best play callers in football are going toe to toe, and just, it's amazing, Jeff, because when you look around the NFL and you see some of the head coaches and some of the offenses, the creativity level in the San Francisco 49ers that say, you know what, we're going to be so creative. We're going to hit home runs in the running game. It's outrageous what they were doing. And they were down big early. I'm saying, I gave a pick out yesterday on the money line 49ers. I'm like, man, I look like a fucking idiot right now. But yep, went against the Dome, Drew Brees in the Dome. I should have known better. And the Niners after that tough game. And every time I turned around when they were down touchdowns, ridiculous play call after ridiculous play call. Not only, Jeff, like, you usually have like, all right, you're down 14. Let's get a long drive together. The Niners were striking back in like 30 seconds to pull back within a touchdown and then take the lead. And you know what the best part about this game is? You say, this is crazy. I love the fact that the Niners defense got absolutely destroyed and they still won, which shows that team like, hey, if we got to win a shootout, we can go guns blazing. If we want to have our defense go lights out, we can win that way as well. What a huge moral victory on top of a victory for the 49ers.
And you look at, Ryan, some of the plays that just kind of were the difference in the game. You look at the deep throw to Emmanuel Sanders. That looked pretty clear OPI personally, but I might have been wrong. And then that ends up going for a touchdown after he falls down and no one touched him. Then you had another failure for the Saints officiating wise, where the fake punt.
I loved it. I loved that no call. I loved it.
It was a clear.
Why is it? No.
It was a hold.
They even had it after the game where they asked multiple referees and say not a single referee would ever call that.
But it's a flag.
Yeah, but it's almost like a 3-card Monty game where you get cheated. It's coming. Nobody knows it is, and the ref say unless you're going to throw the guy in the first row or tackle him, nobody ever calls that.
But it wasn't. But it wasn't one of those things. Not like, for instance, the other night I had a basketball game, college game. I had Arkansas West Kentucky. It was last play of the game. Arkansas shot a 3 to win the game, and the player clearly hit the Arkansas player. They didn't call it. They didn't call a foul, which you don't want a game to end on free throws. That was not a game. Like, it was not a last second play. It was. Again, I get you don't make the call. It was a penalty, though. It was clearly holding. I get you're not going to call PI there, but it was a hold. It could have been should have been a first down. Ryan, this is a classic yesterday. Are you a little concerned, though, defensively with these two teams after that performance yesterday? But I still, you would have to agree, though, the Saints are just not as good as the Niners defensively. I think we could agree with that, right?
Yeah, and the Saints were down 2 starters defensively yesterday in the linebacking core, so I think that might play into it somewhat. But no, I'm not concerned with really either one of these teams. I mean, this is just one of those games where, look, sometimes you get into shootouts. It happens. We see it, weekly. Sometimes in the NFL, shootouts will happen. So look, and Donnie kind of took the words out of my mouth. I loved what Kyle Shanahan did yesterday, opening up. I mean, really just going into the playbook. I mean, he's doing double passes. He's having Kyle Juszczyk run options. I mean, it's just fantastic what he did yesterday. To me, he was the winner of yesterday. If you're going to give like a winner of the day for Sunday yesterday, my game ball would have went to Kyle Shanahan. What he did yesterday was fantastic.
And we'll throw in Kittle as well. Kittle is a beast, man. What a player. We will say, Donnie, I want to give us a little credit here. Yeah. I remember back when they made the Jimmy Garoppolo trade, even back then, or when they hired John Lynch. You and I both lauded that hire. Thought it was a great hire. Is it safe to say, Donnie, that Kyle Shanahan could be – there's not a lot of great coaches in the NFL. I mean, this guy is really becoming one of the – but is he just a flash in the pan?
No, he's not. Because he's been doing it for a long time, just as an offensive coordinator. And
Sean McVay, though, is I guess.
I love Sean McVay, but Sean McVay stepped into a really outrageous scenario for the Rams and got all these weapons. Did you see what Kyle Shanahan did last year with the Niners? And I said to myself, the wins don't even matter. nobody is playing healthy on that football team, like 4-string quarterbacks, and he's dialing up bangers every single week on offense. Wait till this guy, and again, we're talking about just making a move for Emmanuel Sanders. Wait till they really enter the field and get a true number one wide receiver. Good Lord.
That's a great point. We even look at last year. I remember saying on some of their previews that we did, I mean, you have like Dante Pettis.
Exactly. Exactly. CJ Beathard. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, you have your running backs are like, keep in mind your running backs are Matt
Breida. Yes, they're home run hitters all of a sudden. Yes, it's unbelievable, man.
It's really wild, but I guess you build it the organic way. You know, you get a quarterback, then you get an offensive line, then you get a good defense. And this is I'll tell you got two teams in the NFL that I think are really looking to grab the baton as they come around, and it's the Niners and the Ravens. You're starting to see the Tom Brady era kind of ending, the Ben Roethlisberger era ending, some of the older quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers. These are the young guys, even Mahomes as well. You know, you got those three. You're really starting to see a kind of a passing of the guard in the AFC and the NFC. Ryan, I want to get to you on this next subject. Donnie Rightside has discussed many times that he hates Mike Tomlin. He's not a fan of the guy. I've discussed many times that I actually like Mike Tomlin for the most part. I think he's a terrific motivator. I think he's a guy that really relates to his players and gets the most out of them. And you look at this season, there might not be a better coach this year as far as doing something with nothing than him. I mean, look at the guys playing for this guy right now. Benny Snell. I mean, Deontay Johnson, just guys that we've never heard of, and he's finding ways to make them relevant. Duck Hodges. I mean, what kind of guy comes out of Samford and leads teams to victories? But I got to tell you, for the first time in years yesterday, I really believed the team was throwing a game. And I mean that. Like the fake punt.
Oh,
was,
yeah.
Well, the fake punt was laughable. And I will also say the ending in that game, like some of the timeouts that he would, like, even in the first half. Donnie, did you watch the game?
I did not watch it toe to toe. No.
But yeah, I mean, like, he's going for it, and like, just both coaches were bad. Cliff Kingsbury had a set in the first half where he was down, I think 10-0. Decides to not kick a field goal, goes for it, doesn't get it. It's a poorly coached game. But for the first time in a while in this year, I wanted to choke Mike Tomlin after that fake punt. That really pissed me off having the Steelers yesterday.
Yeah, you're running fake punts. You have to realize how good and he does. But every once in a while he interjects. And I used to always joke with Mike Tomlin. He was so bored over the past couple of years because you had an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, offense that did whatever it wanted. He would just out of nowhere be like, you know what? I'm going to coach here. Let's go for two for no apparent reason. He would do that. Try to outsmart himself because I think you should know when you're looking at you're not going to get an offensive aerial show. You're going to lean on an all-world defense. And you're controlling the game defensively. Why would you do that fake punt at that time?
Yeah, some of his overcoaching was just irritating. I mean, Ryan, there was also a play late in the game where it was second down, and the Cardinals had one timeout left. On third down, he throws the ball. Like, you got to burn a minute off the clock there. Make them use the time. It was just bad coaching by Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Just overcoaching, but. Ryan, you've got to be impressed with Duck Hodges. I mean, they don't really let him do much. They don't really let him take the top of the ball. Kevin Fichtner continues to be very conservative. Impressive by him.
Well, I think that shows you that. I mean, Duck Hodges is who he is, and he's not anything special. He's not going to be, a starter here in a year.
Is he better than Rudolph, though?
It's just the fact. Well, I mean, look, maybe I don't know. I don't think we've seen a big enough sample size of this kid. But I mean, let's just say it is what it is when it comes to this football team. They're winning with defense. It's a huge byproduct of just an easy schedule over the last 5 to 6 weeks. I mean, you got to look at some of the teams that these guys are playing week in and week out, and it's the middle to lower tier of NFL teams. So I put a lot of stock into that. But you still have to give Tomlin credit with what he's doing, as a whole with this team, with, letting AB go, letting Bell go, and, Roethlisberger gets hurt, and who they're trotting out there on an everyday basis is definitely impressive. But I'm not ready to say that this team's going to make a deep run in the playoffs or anything like that. Could they with this defense? Maybe. I just don't think they have enough firepower to do that.
I think they win another
in a loaded AFC.
I think they win another game next week, honestly, against Buffalo Bills. Donnie, real quick with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They're coming into, I think, kind of playing just with house money. We know what they're doing this year, but we've got to call it for what it is. This team might have a quarterback crisis on their hands coming up here because
I think you might get you, but you know what? You bring up a good point, Jeff, because that
how much
is
you
what
going to get out of Ben?
No, you're not going to get anything out of Ben anymore. I think you got to go out in the market and be aggressive and make a move, because if we can both say this, if you have a healthy team, and I'm talking about like not making major moves, get James Conner back, keep the offensive line intact. You know, Juju Smith-Schuster comes back, Washington's emerging as a decent threat, and gave you a serviceable tight end. If you add an average quarterback that can run an offense, Jeff, this is a really good football team, man.
Yeah, and I think the problem, the gift of the curse for this season has been while you've played well, you've really exploited yourself from a standpoint of they don't really have a serviceable quarterback. I mean, it's good that they're playing and they're doing their thing, but Mason Rudolph is not a long-term fix. And Chuck Hodges is a nice backup, but I don't think everyone's, and that's just who he is. I mean, we're not confident with the guy long-term.
Let me ask you guys this really quickly, just to kind of go a different direction. Same game, but you can't feel confident going forward with Kyler Murray and Kingsbury if you're a Cardinals fan, right? I don't see that working out at all. I see it crash and burning really.
Now, I'll give them a little bit of benefit because they had some ups and downs, but they faced two elite defenses that really said, you know what? You don't have enough playmakers to get away with this nonsense. And if you can collapse the pocket on him, it's a wrap.
But at the end of the day, Donnie,
it's awful.
But at the end of the day, like, you've got to be able to beat or play with those types of teams. They don't even hang with those teams.
Yeah, but what was your expectation coming into the year on the Cardinals?
But this offense is only going to get eaten. This offense is only going to become more and more, figured out. I mean, this might last a year or two, and they're still not good. Kyler Murray's not a good.
It just feels gimmicky to me.
It's a very gimmicky offense.
Yeah. I mean, and with Kyler Murray, it's just like Donnie said. I mean, he's just. Any sort of pressure, he goes nuts. He just does not sit back in that pocket and dissect the defense. I just personally think as a quarterback, he does not have that in him.
Let's call it for what it is. Kyler Murray is not a good NFL quarterback. He just isn't. He's not. Baker Mayfield isn't either. Neither was Johnny Manziel. These quarterbacks don't work. I'm sorry. I mean, he's not big enough. He's not.
I agree.
He's not durable enough, and he still hasn't even gotten injured yet. You know that's coming soon too. Yeah. Kyler Murray messed up when he played football over baseball. It's just simple. It's very simple.
He looks like a Make-A-Wish kid out there playing with these guys. Like it's comical.
I don't know.
It really is. It really is. He does. He looks like a 16-year-old kid out there.
Now let me ask you. I don't feel confident. I feel confident saying this. If you threw him on the Texans, do you think he'd be any better? I don't think he'd be any better.
So you give DeAndre Hopkins, you give him those wide receivers, he would be better.
He's a complete mess with pressure, dude. He's got to have like a perfect offensive line and that kind of he's not a good quarterback. He's happy feet all over the place. When he throws the ball, it's very awkward. He's trying
to do what he did at Oklahoma, and he's finding out it does not work.
He might be a little better if you put him on.
He needs to adjust
weapons, but he needs to. It's only going to get figured out and be a little easier for defense to deal with it. A couple other things, guys. Pats and Chiefs.
Yeah.
Talk about a bad officiating game. Look, no one's ever gonna feel bad because it is New England. Nobody cares what happens in New England. You just want to laugh because they get everything to go their way. But I mean, the fact that they ruled N'Keal Harry not in. I mean, I don't know what that is. There was just some really odd decisions yesterday. It's a weird game. I mean, Chiefs didn't get their gear until like 3:00. Then you had, the weird officiating and some of it was just a weird game. I didn't watch a ton of it just because I was watching that Steeler game, but New England continues to struggle, Donnie, offensively. I mean, are we starting to see that Tom Brady has lost it? I mean, stop with this. We got to respect because he's Tom Brady. Here's the truth about Tom Brady. He's completing 60% of his passes, guys. It's not good enough. This offense isn't good. And they're only going to face tougher competition. Defenses are going to whip them into offense is going to whip that defense into shape quick. At the end of the day, they did a pretty nice job yesterday. But, Donnie, this offense just isn't good. You're not getting Antonio Brown. Gronkowski's not coming back.
I don't think
And
it matters.
It wouldn't be effective.
I don't think it matters. Yeah, I don't think getting new players in here actually matters. You saw it, and I had the Patriots yesterday. It would have been nice to get a comeback and get some benefit of the refs, but it didn't happen. But if you look at the football game, if you have and this is what I'm saying, like when they match up against, let's say, like a 49ers or somebody, if you have a nasty pass rush, it's over. I'm sorry. You can't. They have zero functioning ability on offense to do anything because Tom Brady's ability to manipulate around in the pocket is gone. And he actually looks shell-shocked. Remember when Kurt Warner was on the Giants for the 6 months before Eli Manning took over? He got beat so bad and beat up so bad, he was shell-shocked. It was only that he went to the Arizona Cardinals where they surrounded him with a game plan and kept him in the pocket. It looks like he's waiting at the snap, Jeff, to get absolutely avalanche from that poor offensive line. Nobody's making plays for him. I mean, good. It's about time, right? It's about time that everything is not going in its way, where you have not forget about N'Keal Harry, the Jacoby Myers who can't catch anything and you can't even throw him the football. It's fun to actually see the Patriots be like, you know what? We actually can't just get every call go our way and make the perfect play. It was amazing to watch yesterday. And they still won the game.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots are not good right now. I think we all know that, but we're calling a spade a spade. The officiating was horrific in this game. Horrific. And it is an NFL
easy
problem.
Fix. It's such an easy fix, Jeff. Me and you, how many times have me and you said this? You have one guy in the booth that all he does is watch the telecast up top and watch the game itself. N'Keal Harry scores a touchdown that play. The refs are confirming. Over the next 15 seconds, he watches 20 replays and just hits the one buzzer in his ear and goes, that's a touchdown right there. Just correct the call, and nobody's going to get mad. Oh, he was in bounds. We met touchdown. And everyone's like, okay, cool. That makes sense. Why can't you do this?
Or just let the effing play go, and you get a free replay because it's a scoring play.
A touchdown. Even if he did, like Ryan, if he stepped out, and I'm talking like 3 feet out of bounds, and you still let the play go a touchdown, nobody would get mad because they would review it and overturn it immediately. It's crazy.
Immediately.
Listen.
And it's problematic. It's the same thing with the Travis Kelce fumble. That should have been a touchdown the other way for the Patriots, but because they blow the play dead, thereby not being able to review it, just let it go.
And they're the best. Like when your job, they're actually taught to let the play go, and they still don't do it. It's crazy.
And they still don't do it. They still blow the whistle. They do the little, he's down. Like,
and or they'll pop in and be like, forward progress was stopped, and then everybody just gets really angry with that.
That rule, one of the worst rules in football, is forward progress being stopped. Yeah. I mean, that game yesterday, say what you want about the officials. I mean, Brady was terrible. I mean, 4th straight game with a QBR under 40. I mean, that tells you all you need to know right there. And he was, Donnie, you said you had to play on the Patriots. I assume you probably watched a lot of that game.
Oh, yeah.
So not only was he, I mean, granted, he doesn't have the weapons that he used to have, but he's missing guys too. I mean, that 4th down play to Edelman, when Edelman runs his patented little out route and he's got the guy beat and he throws it 1.5 yards out in front of him. He's just missing guys.
All those years of the Patriots just saying, you know what, we could do whatever we want. Deion Branch, you're the MVP of the Super Bowl. We don't need you. We're going to trade you for a draft pick. Oh, Brandon Cooks, boy, you're really good. Yeah, get the hell out of here too. Now, look, I laugh. Yeah, and they go the route of, for some reason, the Patriots can't draft wide receivers to actually help them, and they go that route with N'Keal Harry and still can't help you. You go out and give a 2 to Sanu, who's not even involved in the offense. Like we talked about last year with the Eagles, where you go out and get Golden Tate. You can't integrate them. They go out and trade a 2, and Mohamed Sanu is on a milk carton.
The same old stuff with the Patriots that continued to work years on end isn't working right now. Here's the problem with NFL refs. I'm going to call them out.
Horrible.
The average fucking ref is 65 years old. According to the American Optometric Association, which is the association that looks up over people's eyes, most Americans start losing sight at some point at 41 years old. The average referee is 51.
You know why they're so old? You know why they're so old, Jeff? Because it takes that long to learn how many actual rules are in the NFL. There's too many rules in the NFL. Plain and simple. There's too many rules.
There's too many rules, and there's too many old people that can't understand how to fucking use the rules. You know what? You know, Donnie, you know what they also lose if you're over 41 years old? You know what the first sight you lose? Close things that are close to you. That's what happens first. We have 70-year-old fucking referees looking 5 feet away. That wasn't even close to being out of bounds. He had like this much between him. You could see green. I mean, give me a fucking break with these refs.
I mean, honestly, I agree with what Donnie said. And honestly, I'd almost be better off just give me maybe one or two down the field. Like use the whole like earpiece thing for spotting the ball.
It's so
like
easy. Have four guys up top. Your only job is spotting. Your only job is the clock. Your only job is to go. Like, come on, like of course, like unions, the ref is a union. Shouldn't they love that? Like usually umpire unions hate everything about helping the union because they want to do it themselves. But if you had all that, imagine a referee who's in a box like, I think we just fucked this play up, and you get a buzz in the ear. Just put the ball at the 10-yard line, call it a first down, and everybody's like, "Ooh, that's nice." And the ref's "Ooh, saved my life."
Also, why are the most important plays not reviewable?
Yeah, you only get 3.
It's ridiculous.
You only get college football reviews every single play, and that's how you get it done. I love the NFL where you're on the side like, well, he has to use his last. Does he want to use his last challenge on a call that's completely wrong or save it for later? That's outrageous.
They shouldn't force your hand. Yeah, you shouldn't have your hand forced like that. I completely agree.
I love how also in the NFL, okay, when you have a goal line situation, I liken it to the Christian McCaffrey play about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Now, you have how many guys on each side, Donnie? 11 and 11?
11.
Yeah.
So you have 22 guys in a literally 5 feet area.
Like it's Braveheart, and they're crashing into each other. You try to see in there.
And we're depending on our sight to see if that guy get in or not. Get a fucking laser! Every other sport does it. Tennis, soccer.
You don't even need the laser, Jeff. Use the camera overhead. You have 2 cameras looking directly down. It's so easy to see.
Donnie.
But yet the NFL,
and they have that sky cam thing.
Yeah,
it seems
costs
like
too
never
much.
used for the. They're so
money.
focused on the fucking video. On the
but even that,
giving you a great angle on that.
Get some goal line technology like soccer has, where you see the line. Did the ball touch the line or not? You have 22 people in a fucking 3 feet area, and you're managing to see if you can see a little ball. Like, come on, man.
Look at it, like the quarterback sneak where they rush in, and my favorite ones are they wait 20 seconds. Like the quarterback is in the back of the end zone. They're like, I wonder where he's at in here.
Yeah, try to pull bodies off the pile. Standing there with the football.
God damn.
Like,
again, it's like we're in 1950 or 1960. Yeah. I mean, change the rules. Look, Jukes PSG, great point. Doctors used to use stethoscopes. Now they look inside of your fucking body.
What about the chain gang, Jeff? You run the chain out there to measure.
Oh,
here's all you need to know. Here's all you need to know. Jerome Boger, who Jeff, you and I discuss quite frequently, was asked actually after the game if he was thought any differently of just ruling in a touchdown and then going to replay. His quote was, "Not really." That's
imagine not being that fast on your feet.
It.
Like the 2 refs are looking at each other, and in the instance, like I'm not sure. If you just call it a touchdown, your checks and balances are done, and nobody would ever get mad at you. Oh,
it's an easy fix. Yep. It's an easy fix.
You guys want to hear a Jerome Boger impression?
Go.
God.
False start. Offense. Number 15. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Where's he from? Like that accent is so obscure.
Why does he say this? Why does he say this, Donnie? Penalty. Why does he say that?
It's a penalty.
Penalty. First down.
How about a couple times he gets caught looking at the wrong side of the field? Look, and you make the call like Jerome, holding on the offense. Around. Like, no, dude, you got to turn around. It's always the home side. Yeah.
Like, no offense, but like, how old is Bill Vinovich? I mean, this guy's got to be 70.
Dude, the referee, they do it to themselves every week. They hire guys that are just out of the NFL, and they say, break this play down. And they're like, oh, man, you put me on the spot. Well, can see if he goes down and if it might be a fumble here. It's like if you don't know, like when you watch a basketball game and it's an overturned call out of bounds, like, yep, that's the exact same call. Everybody gets it right. In the NFL, it's like, well, it's whatever this ref actually thinks it is looking under. And why is that ref looking under the hood? Why don't you have a team of people in front of 65-inch HD 4K TVs looking at replays? Why are you looking at it on some tiny ass, 3D vision?
Here's how much you have to know about Bill Vinovich. If you Google Bill Vinovich and go on his Wikipedia, even Wikipedia doesn't know how old he is. It says either he's 58 or 59. Yeah. Nobody knows, which is surprising to me. But there's we don't know anything about refs. Bill Vinovich works in his career as a public accountant, certified public accountant. Why not also make that a full-time job?
Well, see, I don't think that even makes a difference, Jeff. Full-time or not, what are they going to do on a Tuesday? They're practicing plays out there. There's way too many rules, and the game is way too fast. And until they do, make them full-time. Trust me, make them full-time. It'd still be just as bad as ever. Doesn't matter.
All right, let's move on. We spent a lot of time on refereeing. One more story. Donnie, the Rams.
Yes.
Are they back?
Jeff, I'll tell you right now, the turnaround in the last 3 weeks between Mitchell Trubisky and Jared Goff, I don't know what's going on in the NFL. He looks like he's ready to go out and win a goddamn Super Bowl with this team, and they're going to get 10 wins and not even make the playoffs. They're back. They're back. And maybe it's we don't rely on Cooper Kupp and Todd Gurley's knee is regenerated. They look the last 2 weeks on offense and defense phenomenal. Phenomenal.
My Donnie or Ryan, my brother, who you know is a Seahawks fan, and I texted him last night. I said, "This fucking defense sucks.
It's awful."
They do. They don't
bad.
get any sort of pass. You think the Eagles don't get a pass rush? This team does not get any. I don't think they've had a sack in the last 2 weeks.
Clowney with that abdominal injury, he is a shell of what he is, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, ugly.
Secondary is not what it used to be. It's bad.
But I think last night, I think, and the books made a ton of money on this game because the whole world was on Seattle. I think that he had to kind of see, though, that this looked like a good spot for the Rams. Really needed this game. They were at home. I mean, as much as Seattle, we love to, fall in love with them, they've had some really odd performances. I mean, defensively, they're not good. They're really undisciplined penalty-wise. It was just... Yeah,
you see the team, Jeff. You see the team out there and how much this is why, because people, he's a corny guy. If Russ doesn't put the entire city on his back, that team blows. It's amazing, man. One guy, imagine if Russ goes down with a hamstring injury and next week they come out with just a backup quarterback. They get diced by every single. Yeah, like Geno Smith goes out there, Jeff. Arizona Cardinals run them ragged. It's amazing how much, if he doesn't play MVP level football, they suck.
Let's get to NFL Monday Night Football. We get the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Giants. I want to first hit a weather report. It's going to be nice as far as temperature tonight, 55, but it is going to be rainy. It's been foggy here all day. It's going to be an ugly night. I think rain will probably subside more towards the end of the game, but I think as the game starts, it's going to be pretty rainy out there. No real wind to speak of, though. Let's get into the game. Eagles 8.5 total. 44.5. So many things to look at in this game because you have two differing thoughts. Eagles were embarrassed last week. This is a get-right game. That's all you hear. But again, with the Eagles, there really is never a get-right game because they never seemingly play as a one unit. I will say, and Ryan, you've brought this up to me before, you look at that Cowboy game where they got beat up. They lost to Minnesota as well. The only complete game they played this year was against Buffalo, I thought. Great at running the football. Carson was okay, and the defense was really good. This is a bad Giants team. It's even worse because Eli Manning is going to play tonight. This defense is as bad as it gets, truly. You could argue, Donnie, DeAndre Baker's the worst corner in the NFL. I mean, he is really bad. Corey Ballantyne's injured. This whole secondary.
Jabril Peppers out.
Yeah, this whole secondary is bad. They don't get much pressure. Their offensive line's not good. But the Eagles, you're not going to have Jordan Howard. The receivers have obviously had trouble. Defensively, they never seem like they're on the same page with the offense. I'll give my opinion first. I'm not betting this game, but if I had to play it, I think the Eagles beat the Giants tonight. I think they do win by 10, probably. You have to have some sort of leader in this locker room that says, look, guys, like Elaine Johnson or Jenkins, and say, look, this really isn't what we want this league to think of us as. We can't go out and put a bad performance together. Ryan, they're at home here, though. This should be a get-right game, maybe a 31-17 type of game. What are your thoughts on this game?
I mean, everything is lined up for this to be quote unquote like their get right game, right? I mean, they're at home. They're facing a Giants team that they've dominated over the last handful of seasons. You get Eli Manning coming to town in this game where I hear a lot of people saying, I'd rather play the kid, Daniel Jones. I mean, Eli Manning, nothing to lose. He has done absolutely nothing against the Eagles. They've pretty much, been his daddy, so to speak, over the last 4, 5, 6 years. It's been bad. So, and just how poor the Giants defense is right now. The Eagles should score. They should flirt with 30 points. I don't care about the weather. They should be able to get upwards of 30 points, with the guys back, playing Jeffries back like he was last week against the Dolphins. He obviously adds a real big piece and dimension to this offense. And I just don't think offensively that the Giants will be able to kind of keep up. Barkley's still battling that ankle injury. Of course, he's not the same player he usually is. So, I agree with you, Jeff. I'm kind of in the same boat. Not going to have a play on this game. If I did, though, I would lean Birds for sure.
Donnie, two questions for you. First of all, Saquon Barkley, who is the one shining light for the Giants. One of the strong suits of the Philadelphia Eagles is the run defense. It's always been very good. They should have some success tonight there. But 4 of the last 5 in this series have been decided by, I believe, 7 points or less. Do you have any sort of concern tonight that this team just are what they are and they're not fundamentally very good?
No, they are what they are. They're not very fundamentally good. But having said that, when you look at the Giants, and tonight, like Daniel Jones going down, that's not a positive because you're going to get Eli Manning. If you're going to talk about some windy conditions, supposed to be out 15-mile-an-hour winds tonight from what I'm seeing, and rainy conditions, wouldn't you want the guy who's mobile? Did you ever watch him at Duke? He's played in rain. He's mobile, moves it around, has a big arm. And now you go to Eli Manning, which I love the fact that people, oh, man, look, Eli's going to go out with a bang. He deserves this. Let me tell you a little bit of something about a guy who's already packed it in, has a huge amount of money, a beautiful wife and kids, and it's going to ride off into the sunset, getting tapped on the shoulder going, hey, bro, you got to play 4 more games for us here when he's already completely checked out. This guy is running scout teams for 8 weeks, and now is going to go back under pressure against a team that he just can't beat in a Monday night spotlight in weather conditions that they're going to be bringing the house. And you think Tom Brady can't get away from the rush? Wait to see Eli Manning tonight. It's going to be hilarious. Now, 2 things are going to happen. He's going to be boom or bust because as we know Eli Manning from the past, Jeff, when the pressure comes in, what does he do? Turns his shoulder, closes his eyes, and throws a punt up in the air and prays it comes down. There's no Odell Beckham saving you. There's no Plaxico Burress anymore. No Sterling Shepard. Exactly. Nobody that's going to be able to lift the coverage. Sterling Shepard's a very good wide receiver. Golden Tate's slow as molasses, and they'll throw some quick rocket screens to him. But nothing scares me. And Saquon Barkley touched 100 yards in back-to-back games to start the season. Has been a shell of him for himself, as Ryan has said there. The Eagles' front 7 should absolutely dismantle Eli Manning. 5+ sacks. 2 interceptions, and just that look of how many memes tomorrow on Eli's face when the offensive line is helping him up, where it has like his eyes in the back of his head. There's no way Eli Manning is coming into this game, oh, he's going to finish out with a bang. No, all he's going to do is go under 500 for his career. That's been average.
This is very similar to that. Remember a few years ago, the 27-0 game at the Link?
Yeah.
It seems very kind of spot-wise similar to that game where Eagles had been playing poorly. They come in and just kind of beat up Eli Manning. Very, very good point, Donnie, about his issues. Jordan Windsor, you are so damn reactionary. Hawks won 5 in a row going into last night. Yeah, but again, Jordan, keep in mind, our job here on the show is to talk about what's going on now. And last night didn't play well. Jordan, we're not saying anything that's not true. Defensively,
they still can win the division, the Seahawks.
Yeah.
They have what? Carolina. They have Arizona. And then they get the 49ers, which is going to be for the division. Or San Fran, excuse me. And it's in Seattle. So they have a good shot of winning that division.
But nothing we're saying is wrong. The only reason they win games is because they have Russell Wilson at quarterback. Their receivers are great.
And they win close games. I heard a stat the other day that I almost couldn't believe. They've scored less points on the season than the Cowboys. They've allowed more points on the season than the Cowboys, yet they sit at 10-3, and the Cowboys are where they're at.
Yeah, who wants to bet against Russell Wilson in a 1-point game in the fourth quarter? Not me, man. Not me.
Nope.
No, and again, we're not saying anything wrong. I mean, the things that we're pointing out are true. They don't have a good offensive line. Their defense isn't great. The 2 good things about them is they have Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. Those are the 2 good things about them. All right, so quickly, if you had to play this game, let's say, Donnie, you're getting a free $100 to play this game. Are you betting the total? Are you betting the side? What's your play in this game?
To be honest, and again, this all predicates, keep in mind weather conditions when we talk about it in the NFL. This isn't your high school field that's been getting rained on for 24 hours with no tarp. They don't lift the tarp off the field to about, 6:45 tonight. So if the heavy rain is gone, the field's going to drain and be fine. As long as you don't get major weather conditions, I think Ryan is the best outlook in this. I don't think the Eagles are going to be stopped from the Giants. The one thing I worry about is the Giants actually scoring points. But I do think Eli Manning is going to be under pressure and throwing balls up for grabs, which is great for a total, interceptions or touchdowns. I actually like the total, Jeff, going over because I think the Eagles are going to press up against that 30 number. And maybe the Giants can do enough to get through that back door, like 14 to 17 points here.
I worry about a 31-10 game here. I really do.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
I will say also, and I want to make this very clear to all of you. If you're going into Monday night and you're down money or you didn't have a good week, this is not the game.
This is the worst game.
Yeah.
Rain,
right.
division, quarterbacks, two teams that stink.
This is a game where I think, and I've talked with you about this, Donnie, the biggest issue bettors make, younger bettors, amateur bettors, they just bet because things are on TV and they feel like they need to bet it. I have a website, as you do, Donnie, and I'll occasionally, like tonight, there's 3 college basketball games tonight. One of them involves Fisk College. The other one involves Alabama State. So I'm likely not going to have a pick on this game. But you know what will happen, Donnie? In my DMs, I'll have people say to me,
so who do you like? Who do you
like in this Monday night?
Who would you have gone with?
Yeah, but I'm not going with anyone. That's the point. So you just remember, the biggest graduation gift to like a decent bettor, someone that's doing stuff with sports betting is understand that you don't need to bet on the game. Ryan D'Amico, you can follow Ryan on Twitter at Dia18. What do you like in this game if you had a free $100?
Yeah, I think I'd lay it. I think I'd lay the points with the Eagles. Like Donnie makes a good point. I think not only Eli, I just think the whole Giants team are checked out. I mean, really. I mean, at what point do you just say, let's get this season over with? I remember when I played high school football. I mean, it's the complete opposite realm of the spectrum. But when you're having a poor season, man, you're out there practicing and you got the game, and you're just like, Christ almighty, I'm ready for this season to be over so I can just chill with my friends and chill with my girlfriend. So I think they're in the same situation. Eagles closed door meeting led by Chase and Kelsey this week. You hear how much stock do you put into that? I don't know, but gun to my head, $300, like you say. I would lay with the Eagles. If they don't show up in this game, I'm out of words.
Let me ask you, Ryan, if this was a 10.5 point number, would you bet the Eagles?
If I got up over 10, probably not. But I think it's a good point.
Is Eli really going to, like at the end of the game, is Eli, let's just say the Giants are down 14. Eli's like, dude, this last minute and a half, I just don't want to get killed. Like, is he going to want to let me go down the field and score a touchdown here? Dude, he's not, he's checked out, and you're going to bet on a checked out quarterback. Wow. If you do that.
T-Mac Corleone saying it's fun, though. Listen, T-Mac, if you have that thought about betting, but it's your money. Like, you're not – fun is a hobby where, like, you basket weave or, like, you work on cars or, like, you screw around with, playing some kind of game or something. This is not fun. It's your money. You work hard for your money. You shouldn't be betting games because it's fun. Like it should be. I'm going to try to make money here. I'm going to try to be serious about this. Casinos probably love you. That's what they.
I got to tell you though, the one interesting thing tonight too, when we talk about like having fun or not, Jeff. Let's see the Eagles go 3 and out their first 2 possessions. How's that going to sound out there?
Yeah.
Real quick, what do you guys think of a lot of talks today about Patriots fans getting ridiculed for booing the Patriots last night? What are your thoughts on that? You think that's okay because who cares if they won you 6 Super Bowls? We're living in it now. Or do you think it was, hey, this team won you 6 Super Bowls, get the hell off?
I think in this, with the fan base we have, maybe Chicago, certain places where football is king and you expect a certain product, sometimes I think a lot of the time, like if you hear booing tonight, it's not going to be because the fans don't love the Eagles. It's going to be because they're not getting the product they think they're entitled to get. And I'm going to tell you right now, Donnie, you know this.
Yep.
Monday nights are tough because those people down there in the parking lot right now it's raining and they're having soggy hot dogs. Mm-hmm. You know what they're doing all day? Putting you back all day. And they're going to get in there and they're going to see an Eagles team go 3 and out. It's not because they're drunk. It's not even because they don't love the Eagles. Every single person in that place loves the Eagles. It's the fact
I'm asking relative to the Patriots. Are you
no?
Okay
look, I love that means your fans are still checked in. Yeah, I love the fact that they're because they're not booing because they hate Tom Brady. They're not booing because they hate the Patriots. They're basically saying like, if you go into an office space and you're made to make a big sale and you fuck up the big sale and your boss comes out and is like, yo, get the fuck together. That's all. It's not hate. It's just saying get your shit in order. But also,
people.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the people that say that they won you 6 Super Bowls, give them a pass, give them a break. You are delusional. You expect it. But it's a reaction. Your team's not playing well.
Yeah.
Like, what? Have I booed at Eagles games and other sporting events?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Will I continue? Yes, it's because I care. I'm invested. I expect this team to perform a certain way. And if you don't, you're going to hear about it.
lot of people have vilified me for my Sixers thoughts. I hate the Sixers team. I hate this team. I hate the way they're constructed. I hate everything about them. I love them, though, and I want them to win ultimately. I just don't like the certain aura that they have right now, personally. And that's kind of just me loving them. But places like, Minnesota vilify Philadelphia fans because they're not what we are. They don't care enough. They laugh when their team loses. They don't care about football. They don't care about – it's not a lifestyle to them. They just watch football because it's cool. Look at Jacksonville or L.A., wherever you go. They don't love football the way I think Eagle fans.
Look at that Arizona game yesterday. I mean,
it was all Steeler fans.
It was 80% Steeler fans.
Yeah.
God,
it's crazy. It was really impressive.
How do you let that happen to your stadium?
Yeah.
All right, we're out of here. We got to go. We've been on long enough. A lot of sports talk today. A lot of good talk in general. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll relive, hopefully, an Eagles win. But with this team, it's never easy. I guarantee, guys, it's 24-21 late in this game. Eagles are fighting off Eli Manning.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Strip sack fumble on Carson Wentz. How many times is that going to happen? The ball's out again.
He must protect the football.
Yeah, then we got to listen to Sterator and fucking Booger tonight.
I don't mind. I think I like Sterator.
Stop.
You mean Tessitore? You mean Tessitore?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I love
Whatever
Sterator.
His fucking name is.
No, I like Gene Sterator. I think he's okay.
Yeah,
look, if Booger gives us one of those first and goals at the 2 where they get a false start penalty, and Booger says, that's a really good thing. It gives you more room to score. So
yeah, listen, you can follow me on Twitter for Boogerisms. I put those out. Stuff Booger says that make no sense, but he still says them. Tessitore sucks as well.
They both do.
Over under how many times they mention cheesesteaks on this broadcast?
Oh, they're going to be down there. Yeah. They might even have it up in the booth. And
they'll get it delivered. They'll get it delivered. Yep.
Booger definitely likes cheesesteaks. For
Third and 7. I bet Booger have maybe in the first quarter. 3rd and 7. Eagles really need to get this first down. You think? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I like that play call on 3rd and 7 to run the ball.
Dude. Yeah, man. It just sometimes you just don't need to talk all that much. Let the play breathe, man.
One thing about Collins and McFarland I hate as well is they make it a point to have to always say something good about player. Like,
here's a guy.
I gotta tell you, I got to tell you about John Gruden used to do it. I got to tell you about Justin Ena. This guy, he was a hell of a linebacker. Like, this guy barely played.
Yeah, they have to do that, though. I mean, that's just it's because I used to always get mad at Gruden. Even Louis Riddick on ESPN blocked me last year because I made a comment to him that wasn't even derogatory. He would come on every radio station. Like if you hear him in Philadelphia, he says Wentz going to be MVP. He goes on Chicago, says he thinks he can win the Super Bowl. So somebody made a comment that included me in with him. And I said, what do you want Lewis to do? He wants to get a job in the league. He's not going to rip anybody. That's his job. And he got after me. And then about 30 seconds, I tried to reply and he blocked me, which made me laugh when I wasn't trying. Like they can't go on the air and be critical because they'll be gone. It's like a fly. It's like the, Mark Zumoff or the Tim Saunders. They can't do that. They won't have a job.
Yeah, I mean, but then some do though.
I love it, and then they're removed. I do give them respect, but then they lose their job.
Teddy B, as usual, no one respects your fan base or team. Must suck. Teddy B, no one cares at the Vikings. They're lovable losers. No one respects that fan base. No one cares about that fan base. They're nice to everybody. No one ever makes mistakes. Nobody cares about you or that team. All right, we're out of here. See you all later. Have a great night. He's Ryan D'Amico. He's Donnie Rightside. I'm the big man on campus. I got to go. I got to take this phone call for radio show. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Hey, Clip, hold on 1 second, all right?
Clip.